Hey folks, this is Matt once again, and this time, I actually reviewed this on my old account, but that's gone, so I wanted to review this again. And that's Trick or Treat, which I'm not showing you the cover until a certain point because it spoils the fucking movie. Which, I don't know why they did that, but Trick or Treat, it's a 2009 film that wasn't supposed to come out in 2009. It's supposed to come out years before. And it's written by Michael Dougherty, who's a co-scripter of X-Men 2 and Superman Returns, and producer Bryan Singer. But this is a very good film, just watching in Trick or Treat. But the thing that pisses me off is that this film should have come out in theaters, was supposed to, probably around, I think 2007, maybe even 2008. Yeah, I think actually 2007. And they just kept pushing it back, and a lot of times like, oh my god, it's a shitty movie. It's not a shitty movie. It's just, it's like, oh no, we don't want to go up against fucking Saw films and shit. And I'm like, fuck that. This is better than any of the Saw sequels. I'm sorry. I like the first Saw film. Trick or Treat, which, by the way, is an anthology film, is a hell of a lot better than fucking any of the Saw sequels. I'm sorry. And it's well directed. The acting works. It's definitely rated R. A lot of, practical stuff. And granted, I didn't grow up with Tales from the Dark Side and Twilight Zone and Tales from the Crypt, and I don't really care about those kind of shows. Not for me. I've seen clips of them and like, I'll see a movie, but I don't know. I'd rather see Coach at the Night Stalker or X-Files. That's me. But you have a couple stories that are kind of going on at the same time during a Halloween night. Like you have a guy and a girl. The guy says you should follow the rules, but the girl blows out this candle and this pumpkin when she wasn't supposed to. And like she's taking off these bed sheets, but then she gets attacked. You see a little bit of blood. And the guy wakes up in the morning and he comes to his, out of his home and finds that, well, it's not really I don't think it's really the morning actually. It still seems like nighttime. But pulls the sheet off and his girlfriend's there wrapped up in lights and has like a candy in her mouth and like I said, you have a couple stories. You have this one story with this principal played by was it Dylan Baker, who this fat kid sits down, and I think it's the fat kid from Bad Santa, actually. I shouldn't call him fat, but I don't know his name, but anyway, like the principal's telling him all this stuff, and he says, you should always check your candy. And then the kid's like just puking up blood really chocolate after chocolate after chocolate, probably with a little bit of blood in there as well. Just puking. And he pulls the kid in, and he's going to bury it, but then you get a little bit of black humor as well, because the neighbor, played by Brian Cox, is like, what's going on there? It smells like a dead whore. And he's like, yeah, everything's okay. And then the kid's like reaching out and grabbing on his leg, and he's trying to hit him and shut him up. A little bit of black humor as he's trying to bury it. Then sees his son, and you think that he's going to kill his own son when he's walking up with a knife and stabs down. But really, he's teaching his son how to carve what you think was a pumpkin, but is actually a human face. So really, the father and son are in on it. Which I thought was kind of cool. I'm sure most people see that coming, but I don't watch Tales from the Crypt and stuff, so I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool, actually. Or like you have this other story with these 4 kids or so. They take this little kid, Rhonda, who they say is a special kid, but she seems fine with me. She hasn't really seen that special. It seems like a normal kid. And they tell the story about how the parents of these had these special kids on this bus, and that they had paid this bus driver to take them somewhere and just giving them this candy, which I guess is laced with poison. And one kid knows that something's up, even though he doesn't know what he's doing, because granted he's special, so he takes the bus. He's going to drive home, and they drive off the rock quarry that they're parked at. And what you realize is Bryan Cott's at the end of the final story, but the bus driver comes out. But anyway, these 4 kids, you think they're being attacked and they're zombies and they're going after the little Rhonda girl, but it was a joke. But then they realize that there's actually real zombie sort of kids going after them, and they want to go up this little sort of elevator type thing. And I don't know if she just wanted them dead, or she's just thought it was still a joke, or it's like, I think she knew. She's like, fuck you guys, you don't do that shit, I'm leaving you here, bye. So she leaves the kids down, and you hear them getting killed. And like, you have another story with Anna Paquin, who, there's this man in black who like killed this woman who apparently had vampire teeth. And he thinks he's going to Anna Paquin, but he gets thrown. And it's set up early. There's a bunch of girls, and Anna Paquin, talking about how it's going to be your first time. First, you're supposed to think it's her virginity, but you find out that the women are werewolves. And the way they did the transformation is like ripping of skin, and it was really good. And you had practical werewolves and werewolf suits, and the way they did it was really good. I'm like, damn, why can't they do this all the time? And, some of these other fucking movies, why can't they do this? You don't need CGI at all. I'm talking about the wolf, And if there was CGI, it wasn't really that noticeable. And then the last story, because throughout the film, I don't want to spoil what's on the cover here, you keep seeing this little kid with this sort of burlap sack, which I guess people call Sam. And like, he's like in a lot of the stories, sort of on the sidelines or watching or whatever. And this kid is now stalking the old man Bryan Cott throughout the house, and the kid seemingly won't die even though he shoots him, and pulls the burlap sack, and you find this under there. I thought this was a really cool design. It's the real Pumpkinhead, I guess, but it's practical, and animatronics, and I like that. I appreciated that. And you're stabbing at the old man, in his leg and stuff, and you realize that all the kid wants is the candy, and grabs the candy and bites it, and leaves. Then at the end, Bryan Cox is there, and those zombie kids from earlier, because you find out that Bryan Cox was the bus driver, those zombie kids are now at his front door. And happiness ensues. But Trick or Treat, I remember watching this the first time. It was like 3 in the morning, I just couldn't sleep, and it kept my attention. I think the film is well photographed and very capably directed. It looks like a big budget film. Doesn't look like a cheap old direct-to-DVD film. It's pretty short. It's 82 minutes long with credits. So it's not that long at all. It goes by a quick pace. It is rated R. You do see a little bit of nudity. You definitely see some violence, a little bit of gore. All the actors do their jobs well, whether it be Dylan Baker or Anna Paquin or Bryan Cox, they do their jobs well. And I don't know, I like the stories. I liked the little twists. I didn't see some of them coming. Sorry about that. Hiccups now. But I didn't see, like, the girls being werewolves. I didn't see that coming. I guess I should, because she was wearing a Red Riding Hood. But yeah, I didn't think of that. I didn't think they'd be werewolves. And I don't know, I like the way the stories were done and the little twists. Some of them I didn't see coming, but this comes from a guy which, I've seen Creepshow 1 and 2, and unfortunately 3. But, yeah, Trick or Treat, I also appreciate that a lot of practical uses. The zombies, the kids, the creature at the end, the little Sam character, the werewolves. I like the fact there was a lot of practical effects, and I think some pretty good ones. So overall, yeah, a capable cast, yeah, definitely a capable director. The guy should direct more horror films. You got solid effects and practical effects, animatronics. I like the way the stories are all sort of interconnected. So like the guy that the women kill, who was the man in black with the fake vampire teeth, that's actually the principal guy, Dylan Baker, from a first sort of little main story. And the ending of the movie is in the same time frame as the very beginning of the movie. I don't know, I like the way that was done. The way it was sort of interlocked with each other. It wasn't like Creepshow where it's like beginning, middle, end, nothing else. Beginning, middle, end, nothing else. And I like the way it was done, and overall I really enjoyed Trick or Treat. It was definitely, of those anthology films, this is definitely one of my favorites. I was positive, I'm trying to think of all the ones I've seen, like, I really like Cat's Eye, Creepshow 2, But, yeah, Trick or Treat is really good. And it deserved to be in theaters. Instead of just being shipped off to direct-to-DVD, and it sucks, because what guy in the theaters fucking saw 25, or saw fucking 5, or 6, or 7, whatever the fuck it was. Probably saw 5 and then 6, whatever. It's a bunch of bullshit. This went to direct-to-DVD, and so but that's how it goes. But still a solid movie. Not much for features, just this little, like, 5-minute anime thing, which really doesn't amount to much. Which is too bad, because this is a really solid flick. So anyway, thanks for watching, and take care. Later.